A question I get asked all the time is, how do you manage to keep up with all these video games that you talk about on the channel? As an adult with a job and kids, how do you keep up with all this stuff? Where do you find the time? So I thought I would bring on a few of my friends. Today we've got SmashJT, Shawn from the Electronic Emotions program, and my friend Femtrooper, who all have kids and all have busy adult lives, and we're all going to talk about how we manage to prioritize gaming in our lives. So let's start with SmashJT. Smash?
What's going on, NerdCrave? Thank you so much for allowing me to grace your channel with my presence yet again. And today we're going to be talking about being an adult, and in my case, having a family and dealing with the obligations and scheduling, and how do I squeeze in gaming between all of that. And to be honest, this is something that hits home with me. It's a topic that I had been considering making a video on my own channel about for a very long time. So I think it's a little bit ironic that you reached out to me and asked me about this, because I was like, man, yeah, it's like you're reading my mind. As far as how I feel about all this, I am so torn, it's not even funny. My life has become so full of stuff to do on a daily basis that I find it increasingly difficult to squeeze time for gaming in every single day. And I never thought I'd come to this point in my life, but I'm realizing there are days that come and go that I don't even turn on a game system. God, I feel like I'm turning into my own dad, but I hope to never completely lose the aspect of gaming in my life. I have too much of a passion for it. I always made a promise to myself when I was a kid to always try to make time for gaming no matter what happens in my life. And to the most part, I've stayed true to that. But there's a lot that's gone on in my life recently. Like recently I've purchased a beach house, and I've done a lot of work on putting new flooring in and painting it, because it was kind of a fixer-upper when I got it. And there's been a ton of stuff we've had to do to organize that. And I've been doing that in between working and spending time with my family. So every free moment that I have, instead of gaming, I've been heading down to the beach house to work on that. So I guess it depends on when you catch me in my life, what's going on and how I'm able to schedule around it. And it ebbs and flows. There are peaks and valleys, and it definitely comes in waves, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a challenge though. But same thing with my kids too. Like, I try to play games with my kids. I try to allow them to experience them on their own, but I want the delicate balance there of being able to go outside and enjoy reality and play with their friends outdoors and stuff like that. So we limit the time, and we try our best to be as good of a parent as possible in the modern era with all the technology that's surrounding all the kids these days. It's definitely a challenge though. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like I've been very blessed and thankful for everything that's happened to me. But I would like to be able to game more. But at the same time, I'm making the proactive choice of partitioning my time and scheduling it out, where some days my family takes priority. Actually, it seems like more often than not, that's what happens. And I'd like to think that's understandable. But there's a little bit of selfishness that I always have, that I'm like, man, I just want to be able to sit down and play through a JRPG or a Metroidvania, like all the way through Hollow Knight or something like that. And it's just like, I just don't have the time for it, which I guess full circle, I think that's why I'm so excited for the Amico. It's because that's like gaming little bits of time, and you can play with your family. So I feel like that fits in my lifestyle and will incorporate perfectly in my world right now. But I mean, that's a discussion for another day. That's where I'm at with everything. And I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much again for reaching out. And yeah, man, you stay smashing.
It's a really great point you make, Smash, about gaming with your kids. It's such a wonderful opportunity to get some game time in and also share your passions with that next generation. It's so fun to expose your kids to the things that you absolutely loved and see them grab hold of those things and love them too. Anyways, on to Shawn from the Electronic Emotions program. Shawn, what do you have to say for us?
Hey, thanks Aaron for inviting me to be on the video. I have to make this real quick. I finally found time to hide from the kids. I learned this trick from watching E.T., the movie, not my favorite Atari game, okay? so hopefully they won't find me. Wait, so you're asking me how has my life changed in regards to gaming after having kids? A lot. I used to game whatever game I wanted, whenever I wanted, how long I wanted, only interrupted by work. You know, everything else is fair game. Once the kid came around, the first kid, everything was fine. But around the age 2 mark, maybe a little before, a little after, I was watching a horror movie with my wife and father-in-law, and he took notice of what was on TV. That's when I knew it was all going to go downhill, because then I'd have to start paying attention to what and when I did stuff. So no scary games, no anything, right? So not only did I have to worry about the content, but also how much I played, because I need to be a responsible father who takes care of my kids and loves them and stuff, right? Because that's what they want, love and attention. So I've had to play more short burst games, like racing games and open world games that are mission based and everything. Every so often I'll be able to squeeze time in for an RPG, but it's usually something like Mario and Luigi. But yeah, it's you know, it's changed quite. Okay, they're past. Yeah, no, it's changed significantly. Ultimately, though, you know, it's allowed me to play games I might have passed on before for the more big, bombastic games. I've had a lot of fun with a lot of great casual games. They're both going to be in school this September, which means I'll be able to play more games again. So, you know, my almost 10-year wait to get, you know, 8-year wait to get back into the world of gaming is finally coming. But right now, it's still really hard to, you know, really pursue my pastime and even make videos about it. As you can tell, they're kind of hard for me. Oh, I gotta go. This is too much. Ah!
Daddy, where are you? We need you. Daddy, I need you.
Just one last thing I need to clarify. Although these little brats have made me a worse gamer, they've made me a better man.
What?
As hilarious as your clip is, Shawn, you really hit on something that, like, when you've got young kids, it's just so hard to focus on anything, and you know, you really don't even want to necessarily you know, set the kids aside. You want to be that great dad, that great mom, that great influence on the kids, and you need to be there for them, and you need to be present in your real life, whether it's jobs or whatever. So, you know, it's so great to see that you still have joy and passion for gaming when you can fit it in, and, you know, being able to just play some casual games here and there after the kids are gone to bed or whatever is still wonderful, and it keeps you in the world of gaming. And you know, I've always been able to appreciate that late night gaming session, 2 o'clock in the morning when the kids and the wife are in bed. Looking at our next segment, we've got Femtrooper, and Femtrooper has been a bit of an advocate for gaming as a parent. She actually has a Discord channel where she talks about this extensively. So I'm really excited to see your perspective on this. Paige, take it away.
Hey everybody, it's Femtrooper. Thank you, Aaron. Let's talk about parenting. Well, no, but let's talk about how I juggle parenting and play video games, because honestly, I mean, personally, I think I play a lot of video games, and people might think, how do you have time to play video games when you have, like, a little kid? Well, honestly, it's just prioritizing your time. You have to have a schedule, and you have to basically pick and choose what you do. So for me, when he goes to bed at night, I play games. I have all night to play games. So to be honest with you, I actually have a ton of time to play games. I mean, I'm obviously not playing games all day, but I have all night to play games, so I can get through a decent amount of games. Sure, I don't have like all Saturday and Sunday afternoon to just sit and play games for 8 hours, but that's okay because I get to play games all night, and, you know, some days I don't. Some days I'm doing Femtrooper stuff, or some days I'm watching movies, or watching a show, or whatever it is, right? I'm out. Who knows? But if I want to play games, that time is there. You just have to make the time for it. So for me, it's all about, okay, I have free time to myself. What do I do? is it a game or is it, you know, reading a manga? Whatever it is, that's up to me. So I do have the time. I sort of feel like I play more games now than I used to. I think it's because I don't have as much time, so I've put all my time towards gaming. Versus before, I had so much time on my hands that I found that I did random stuff or just didn't play games. I know that's a really odd concept, but it's just how it went. So now I'm beating games like crazy. The other thing I do, and this has nothing to do with being a parent, but I really stick to one game. If I pick a game, unless I hate it like crazy, but if I pick a game, that's what we're playing. Like, I'm not playing like 6 games at once, playing 12 hours here, and then playing another game, and then, no. I play one game, I beat it, and then we're done, and we go to the next one. Or else, I would never beat any games. I would never get through my backlog, and I really do enjoy getting through my backlog. One of my favorite things to do is to beat a game, because it just feels great. I feel like I become part of a new club, like, hey, I beat that game, I get those references, blah blah blah. So yeah, you have to just make the time for it, whatever that is for you. If it's, you know, cooking or baking and you want that time, if you have the time, then that's what you're doing. So whenever I have free time, it's usually playing a video game, and so I dedicate a certain amount of time at night to do that. So, you know, that's basically it. So my number one tip is, if you're a new parent and you're like, how do I play games? First of all, if you're a brand new parent, you may not have the time, and that's fair. And you may just have to accept that for a certain amount of times, you're not playing any games. But when you do get the time, then make the time. If it's important to you and it's something you like to do, whatever that is, for me it's video games, but it is also other things. I want to make time for movies. I want to make time for manga. I want to make time for whatever it is. I make the time, and anything is possible if you just make the time. If you want to hear this Dragon Quest mom talk about other JRPGs and other silly stuff to do with video games, come check out my channel at Femtrooper.
So I have a little bit of a different perspective than the rest of you. I'm a little bit further along on my parenting journey, and for the most part, like, for those of you who don't know, being real here, I'm divorced, so my kids do not live with me full-time anymore. I did at one point have the same challenges as you, trying to fit in entertainment and stuff around young kids and stuff, but now I'm a little further along in my journey. My oldest, Kaz, you see on the channel all the time, is living on his own, graduated college, and my next oldest, Lily, she's here for a visit right now, and it's definitely more challenging to get out videos because I'm spending so much attention on her right now, but she's usually only here for a couple of weeks, or in this case a month. So you know, I have a little bit more freedom in my life outside of children than you guys do, but I have so many other challenges, as we all do. You know, creating YouTube content takes a ton of time. Constantly being worried about getting that next video out, and the algorithm, and what people want to see, and the newest trending topics that you've got to talk about, and it can be working around a full-time job and trying to get content up on YouTube takes up a ton of time, and it is extremely challenging for me to actually sit down and complete a game. You know, what Paige was saying in her segment about picking one game and sticking to it, this is something that I have had a huge challenge with for a long time since I started my YouTube journey, because I feel compelled to check out every new game that comes out so I can talk about it and maybe play 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 hours and then move on to the next one and the next one, because games are coming out so rapidly. Every few weeks or so there's another game that I want to talk about, and I rarely get more than 8 or 10 hours completed in one game before the next one and the next one are coming out. So for me, I have really had to, and I actually did something a couple of months ago which I kind of failed at, where I called it the 90-day backlog challenge. Kaz and I both did it, and Kaz was successful all the way to the end. I was not, but I was successful about halfway through, where I took a specific set of games. I bought no new games during that time period, and I only lasted about 45 days. But I bought no new games during that time period, and I took 1 week and devoted it to a specific game, and then moved on to the next and the next and the next, week after week. And that really taught me a lesson about sticking to things, because I was able to knock some things off the backlog, positive or negative, that I absolutely really wanted to do. So now I am particularly focused on beating Atelier Ryza. And what I have to do now is I really have to discipline myself. I work afternoons, evenings, so I work from about 4 in the afternoon until midnight or 1 a.m. When I come home, it's late, I'm tired, I want to eat something, I want to have a shower, so I actually have to schedule in some time and say, okay, the minute I get home, I'm going to play for 30 to 45 minutes until, you know, say 2 o'clock, and then I'm going to have my shower, grab something to eat, watch a sitcom or two, and go to bed. So generally, my gaming time in any given day is about 45 minutes. That's just all I have. In the afternoons, I'm working on YouTube videos. Then I go to work, then I come home, game for 45 minutes, and then maybe watch a 45-minute episode of TV, and that's pretty much it for the night for me. So, you know, I definitely struggle to keep gaming, you know, in the perspective that I want it to be. I want to spend more time gaming. Of course, my notifications are going crazy. But anyways, guys, so what do you do out there? What is your strategy to keep gaming relevant in your life? If you're a parent or you're an adult, let's say you've got a crazy job, you're working 60, 70 hours a week. I know cousin Mike used to come over here at least once every weekend and spend an evening with me, and we would game for 3 or 4 hours in the evening. That doesn't happen anymore because he now has a job that requires him to work like 70 hours a week, and he's got a new girlfriend, so I never see him anymore. You know, these real life things happen, and you've got to figure out what is important to you and what is not. Make a schedule and stick to it. I really think that's the only way that you can continue to keep gaming relevant in a busy life, especially as a parent. So anyways, guys, thanks for sticking around. This video was a lot of fun. Thanks Paige, thanks Shawn, thanks Jeff. It was great to have you on the video again. See you next time. Stay classy.